The only update I have, excuse me, on that is I did receive a email from Elliot Boardman, who's with FB Environmental, thanking us for signing the contract, and his wishes are that we can set up some kind of a meeting in the near future to kind of have like a kickoff meeting. I believe I sent that out to everybody. I don't know what the dates are. He was actually talking about next week, but by the dates he gave me, I assume he's talking a video conference type meeting, and I don't know if that's what we want or if we want an in-face, sit-down kind of a meeting.
Video conference works for me. Does it have to be during the business day, or?
Well, his times that he gave us, or gave me, was like 9 to 3, 9 to 12, 9 to 2 for 3 different days next week. He says he can push it out like to the following week if necessary, but as I
So you
said,
need a 3-hour window?
right. Well, except for, I think it was Monday, it was a 6-hour.
But does he need that long to go over it?
Oh, I don't think so, no. Those are just
Okay.
the time frames that he's available, between 9 and 3 or whatever. I did, as I stated in the email that I forwarded out, I would like to have as many board members on the call as possible so that we can get all the different opinions and kind of a consensus,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just, 1 or 2 people.
Makes sense.
So I'm pretty right now. I'm pretty flexible next week. So it seems like, Scott, if you have the most limits to your time, maybe you could throw out something that we can get back to him with, since it's such a wide range to
Yeah.
give him a time.
If we
What
could do
I can also find out from him if he can do this at a later time during the day when it might be more.
Early in the morning is usually okay, before my boss gets in and sends me off on tangents.
Yeah. Early in the morning, what are we talking, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 6?
8 to 10, somewhere around then.
8 to 10. Okay. All right, I can get back to him and see if he can set that up.
Okay, great, thank you.
Is it something maybe he could come in here and address us all?
Well, I was wondering about that too. If I don't know, if we want to wait till the next November meeting. Seems like an awful long time
No, but can we do a Zoom session or something like that?
here, or
No.
oh, you mean just a regular? Yeah,
Yeah, video conference.
yeah, I'm sure we can do that.
Okay.
I mean, I think a Zoom session would be better than having him here, honestly, so we can all work through stuff. But
I'll see if I can set that up. And is any particular date better than another, or maybe I can get 2 or 3 different dates and.
so he has the 14th, 15th, and 16th down right now.
Yep.
9 to, if he can do before 9.
Sure. Yeah, any of those.
Any of these?
Yep.
Okay, I thought you wanted something. Oh,
If it's not after work, then early in the day is better.
okay. So any one of those 3 days next week?
Yep.
Okay. I will get back to him and schedule something.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add to that?
I was just going, so nothing specifically to that. We obviously did send off the contract, hence that. But we had the project builder kickoff meeting last week. Doug was in attendance for that. And we are working with Lisa Wise and Abigail Lyon. And so we're going to have monthly check-ins with them starting in November. And they want to make sure, helping us build a project that we can build off of what FB Environmental is doing. So they're interested in potentially talking with FB Environmental to have an understanding of what they're creating for the commission, for the dashboard, so that any projects that we are formulating with the tree inventory that we build off of for applying for grants will easily integrate and work with what FB is creating for us.
Mhm.
So if there's particular direction that the commission is looking for that phase 2 or a target of like what it is, that would be good. And they're gonna help craft and work with us on applications and just idea brainstorming, things like that.
From FB's perspective, I would think it would be handier to have them at that Zoom call as well, but I also don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen for the initial call.
We talked about that in the contract that we have with FB Environmental is there's established 2 meetings with them. One of them is for the kickoff and one of them is for product delivery. We talked about that there could be potential for funding that PREPA could get to set up a separate meeting with FB Environmental to have those sort of conversations, or if it's like we carve out a specific pocket time in the initial kickoff meeting with FB to have PREPA, or if they're just there to listen.
I think ideally it would be good to have Lisa and I forget who else you said. Abigail meet with the commission to talk about it.
And that's fine too. They're willing to do that.
And then we can frame, further conversation with
Yeah.
FB Environmental.
We can, at our next check-in with them, see if there's a meeting that they could attend, if that makes sense for the commission.
Sure.
I can ask them that.
Thank you.
Dana, didn't we set up a meeting, like, with the PREPA group for like the next 2 weeks or something?
Yep, we're gonna have so there's another grant application, the window that I think it closes at the end of the month.
Right.
That Michelle has another project in mind
Right.
that they will assist us with the writing of that grant, and then still work with us on the tree inventory as well.
Okay.
So as part of the overall project builder, they'll assist us with both aspects.
Yep. Okay.
Is it PREPA or PREP? I thought on their website it was PREP. But
I saw the same thing too. It's PREP, but then there's PREPA. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's the Scataqua. I think I know how to spell this.
regional estuarine.
I feel like it's really hard words to,
Estuarine.
really easy words to mess up.
But it ended with Alliance.
I know that the grants we have always referred to as the PREPA grants, like the one that we got for the natural resource chapter.
Maybe they changed their name.
Just add some more to the acronym.
Piscataqua Region Estuaries Partnership.
Association.
Yeah, so it is.
Resources
So
for
yeah,
towns.
because
PREPA grants.
yeah, Abigail Lyon is from PrEP, and the adapt. Because Lisa Wise is from UNH Extension. She's a coastal resilience specialist. But yeah, it is PrEP. PrEP is the. Their website's not fast. I think PrEP is that is what we've always referred to the grants as. PrEP is the.
Maybe PrEP is a subsidiary of PrEP,
It could be.
and just deals with the grant.
Okay.
I digress.
Yeah, I see you there. All right. I have yet to reach out to Councilor Cameron regarding the Rocky Hill parcel, but I will do that. Cameron. Any other old business?
You had asked me to meet with the chief of police on Malley. I met with Chief Sutherland. They don't have any vehicles that they can send patrolmen down in there. That's one of his things. And I talked about the cameras. He has no problem with, the fake cameras going up. And then I talked to him about potentially putting in a budget next few years about cameras getting put up in the city and, the IP going right to the fire and police department so they can monitor it. He seemed to think that you couldn't get any Wi-Fi or anything down that area to be able to do that, but pretty sure I had told him I have a connection with a company that could do that type of stuff. We did it in the railroad, did a lot of that, over $2 million worth of camera work in areas where we didn't have much to work with other than electricity. So down inside the hiking trails might be a little tough, but at least the entrance ways to them on our side, like that. So he's going to think more about that. But as far as the phony cameras, we're fine with that, doing that. And I guess my question to you is, do you want me to talk to the guy about the cameras and see what kind of solution he can come up with on a few of them or something like that to get kind of a quote?
Definitely for the fake cameras.
Well, the fake are all set. I have a bunch of old ones.
You have some?
Yeah, they're regular cameras, just don't use them anymore, so.
If we get them, probably we should get some signs to put with them.
Yeah, I probably have a dozen of them, and I have probably 6 or 8 signs.
Is there any stipulation from the city about what the signs have to say, like whether it's permitted under ordinance, whatever?
I don't have that information readily available, but I could look into signage requirements and things like that.
Thank you. If we got live cameras, did you talk to him about tying them into police?
Yeah, that's the whole thing, right? If we put cameras out there, I said to him, it'd be advantageous to have the IP address go right to the police department and the fire department, so they can keep an eye on it. And if there is a problem out there, an emergency or something like that, they can get eyes on pretty quick. Kind of like what they do up the Pines. I guess there's a camera up that way, like that. And he did say that, if he was able to get cameras in the budget, he's not so sure he'd want to use them out of Malley just because it's really a low area of engagement with versus some of the other places in town that he could really use them,
That's a good point. Like Mass Point Dam, there's always some nefarious action going on there.
Right. A Beeson, some of the other places around it would probably be a little more bang for your buck than Malley. I asked about, just keeping an eye on patrol. I told him there was an uptick in people, especially today with electric mountain bikes. So 3 kids have electric mountain bikes, and then the 4th and 5th kid has a mini bike or an ATV. So they're all getting together, going around to keep an eye open for that with the police when they go in there, and the same thing with dogs off leash as well, like that, to keep an eye on that. And that's another thing. Like told them, I spent a lot of time there and working on the fields. And last weekend I was there all weekend, and there was probably, I don't know, at least a half a dozen people just came with their dogs and started walking. They chained them until they got to the field, behind the fields, because they were playing there, ball this weekend, and then as soon as they got past the fields, released them, So, but
If we got cameras that didn't tie into the police and fire, maybe we could set them so that they're sensitive on a human recognition level. I know some cameras allow you to get
Motion.
wildlife or wait for something as big as a human to pass by or whatever. And then maybe monitor it historically, just go through the timeline and see whether anything pops up rather than having notifications go off.
Well, there's the other aspect of this is if the cameras are not down in the conservation area, then I don't really think it's an issue for the Conservation Commission to take on.
Right,
You know, I mean,
yeah.
if the security of the fields or I mean, I think there's already potentially one or fake one up at, further in at the drop-off point. But yeah, I mean, if we don't have some way to have sort of eyes on down in there, then it's not really,
Where's the
Us doing.
conservation boundary? Like, when does it start?
essentially I think we did a little bit of a buffer beyond the fields, the softball fields. If that's the area you're concerned about, I mean, we buffered the house as well, and then it goes up to the composting facility and then around to the river.
He seemed to think there was quite a few cameras in the dump, at the
Mhm.
dump. And he was gonna talk to the city about potentially moving them down towards the entrance of the fields and the dump, so you could see what vehicles are going which way there, like that. And then if there's a telephone pole right there by the concession stand, high enough on that, if we had a PTZ type camera, you could catch that area.
I still don't, I don't know, I'm not sure that's a Conservation Commission, that covers what we would, our
Are
concerns.
we trying to stop to see who's going down in there?
I mean, that's part of it, but there's multiple access points, and so if we're worried about, being able to monitor for four-wheelers or motorcycles, dirt bikes, whatever, I'm not sure that's the point of access, and so I don't know, do we get anything by monitoring that point on a pole that overlooks the fields that may pick up something? But remember the easement area also drops, so you might pick up
Potentially
something up high, but you might miss because of that. So I don't know. I mean I'm not sure. I mean it's a tough situation because there's probably I think at least 3 or 4 access points around there. Definitely 2 strong ones.
There's
one
the
from
trail from
Rollinsford.
Rollinsford, there's the
Yeah.
old Rollins, old Indigo Hill Road,
Yeah.
and there's a,
I think you could come in off the train tracks too, and into the lower field, right, and around.
yeah. I think there's also something that, I was gonna say something that tied in through near the cleaners, but I don't think so.
I also think that even if we don't go the camera route, because it's too expensive, or just not, like you said, big bang for the buck on that, we can at least, I think, we need to have it posted more. It's really not posted very well. I mean, right deep in the woods even, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think a lot of these things have been on hold, just until we have confirmation of what the property is, or how it's going to be classified. And I do feel like once we, if we are able to move forward with, a more formalized conservation easement, and then, formalizing those trails to protect from erosion and all of that, then there's a presence there that, we then put up more signs. There's an information kiosk or two, and maybe that solves, some of the problems, especially with, dirt bikes and four-wheelers. So I agree. I mean, I think, maybe we just wait a few more months to then we know what we have going on, how we then, what kind of signage we use, and frankly, whose signage it is too. It may not be Somersworth Conservation Commission boundaries. It may be, Fish and Wildlife, or however that all works out. But so yeah, I think that's a good idea. And Scott put out signs out there before, but they've been disappeared, I think, over time.
The trails that are there now, are they mapped?
I mean, we've mapped them,
informally.
but not, yeah, they're not out there for anybody to use that I know of. There may be some kind of, somebody may have walked them with All Trails and made that available. But in terms of the city putting it out somewhere now, there's nothing. because we don't really know, I mean, we have ideas and we had consultants look at, how we can limit impact on the trails that are there. But that was also a discussion before there was as many trails as there are now. And so, yeah, I mean, we have a kind of a plan to go forward with what was there a year ago, but that is different now after what we found, that's occurred over the last, couple months. So.
The signage that we had out, and there's still, I think, 2 signs left, they were for no hunting, and that's because that's the restriction for the park ordinance, whatever ordinance that is. I don't know whether there's any restriction for bikes and motorized vehicles on parks, but I agree with Kevin that, there will be a plan for this, and probably it will include access types, and, well, definitely will include types of access. And once we've ironed that out, we can figure out what types of signs to put up.
Sounds good.
One of the things that had come up quite a while ago was that the ATV club is putting out maps and trail signs and all that kind of stuff online, and also starting from Rollinsford and coming in. So that's an issue as well, because there are unofficial trail signs, I'm sorry, trail information out there, but it's not necessarily anything that's desirable from our point of view.
There had been 10 years ago or so. I can't remember how long ago it was, but and I saw that online on Tri-City Trailblazers page. But the trail bureaus had spoken with them, and I thought that they'd taken them down.
I haven't looked recently, so I don't know for sure, but I thought it was more recent than that we were talking about.
It could be, yeah, stuff pops up again, so.
Yeah.
I think it's a really important point. And when I looked at the map, I think I found the map last year probably, and Malley Farm wasn't actually on it. So, but there was trails going right near it and right on the other side of it. So there's definitely the potential for pressure from, you're asking a lot of somebody coming out of Rollinsford on Old Indigo Hill Road and to go down and then across, what is that Main Street out there? I don't even know, but onto the other side of the road where the trail starts again. So instead of going across Malley Farm, but I think it'll be a challenge, to get under control.
The railroad just clear cut their lines too, so it's very accessible to walk, ride your bike or anything on there now.
I'm a little conflicted on the sign topic. I mean, I understand the need for it, but my thinking is that people that are using the trails, even dog walking, whatever, are going in for peace and quiet to get away from the noise and the signage and everything, just to enjoy the woods. And if we start slapping signs up all throughout the property, it kind of takes away what they're there for. I mean, I can understand that maybe at entrance points like Kevin was saying at Rollinsford, is maybe start like with the entrance points and just put up a sign that says, it's video surveillance, no ATVs or whatever, if that's the policy. And then see if that cuts it down before we start putting signs up every, 300 feet.
I don't think anyone was suggesting that, just at the access points.
Oh, okay, I got the impression that you were talking about putting them in the...
No, I think, it would be a boundary thing, really,
Okay.
I mean, there's some signs in there now where I think it was you who did those, but those were strategically placed where, like at the the one that I'm thinking of is at an intersection of a couple trails, so people coming in different ways would see it. But yeah, I mean, but there is also pressure. There's a lot of pressure on that site from people who aren't seeking silence and solace in that area, unfortunately. And but yeah, but marking the boundary the way it should be when we have an agreement in place, and then information at what we deem to be the official entry points or whatever. So it would be the extent of it, I think.
Seems like the most critical step at this point is to get the conservation in place, determine what the access restrictions are, and then develop a plan to actually address those. But I think the border entry points are the places to go.
Do we know the long-term goal? I mean, do we want to make it a hiking park, conservation park, or are we trying to not make it?
Yeah, I mean, the long-term plan, I think, would be that it's a multi-use area, heavily leaning towards conservation wildlife habitat. There's a need to balance those things because there are trails there and there are already people going in. So, formalizing the trails in a way that reduce the impact. Right now, there's erosion from the trails. There's new trails being created because there are no formal trails. So I think, formalizing the trails to protect the habitat, and then also, if depending on where the trails, if we were to add anything or anything like that, would be, so that we would reduce the impact on wildlife in the area too. So,
Yeah, multiple use, excluding motorized vehicles and, maybe dirt bikes.
Are the Malley Farm trails tied into the Riverwalk?
no.
They're not. Can they be? Or, I mean,
Not really.
No.
You'd have to cross. There's like ways that it could potentially connect, but you'd have to cross roads. Like there's not a natural greenway that connects them at this time.
okay.
And I don't think it's. I think they're across because the river walks across the street, so you'd have to go.
Yeah.
There's
Plus, there's
Is
probably,
there?
yeah,
And
there's probably
you know,
5
people's
or 10
slots.
houses or something. 10 houses probably.
but there is theoretical potential that they could connect, but whether or not that is something that could come to fruition is a longer range project.
I mean, it connects, naturally to Scoutland property. So, yeah. But that's it.
Any other comments on that? How about a treasurer's report?
Yes.
Do you need it?
No, I have it. Thank you there. Let's see. August 31st, balance forward of $330,706.92. Interest received $1,166.05. And that leaves us with an ending balance. Well, I should say there was no expenditures listed for last month. Ending balance of $331,872.97.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other items? Motions?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second?
Okay, there's a motion and 2 seconds to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned at 6:36.